Hello everybody and welcome to episode 2 of the Hollywood News Podcast. Here we talk all things pop culture, current news and politics. And boy do we have a lot to talk about this week. From more Jordyn Woods drama and Ellen DeGeneres' public apology, to Demi's split from her fiancé and RBG's controversial replacement, as well as so much more. So without waiting any longer, grab a Red Bull or something and let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing to talk about this week is Ellen DeGeneres, and this is because she has publicly apologised during the beginning of her 18th season earlier this week. Ellen seemed quite upset about the allegations which had risen over the summer regarding a toxic work environment. However, she acknowledged that she had learnt that things had happened in the past which shouldn't have been let to happen. Many previous workers and stars who had come on the show had come out and saying that they too had experienced these toxic work environments. These stars included Nikki Tutorials, who released allegations saying that when she was on the show last year, she felt that the workplace was toxic and that Ellen was far different from the person who she seems to be on screens. Many other workers spoke of a toxic environment with things such as they weren't allowed to look at her, talk to her, or even make eye contact with her. So Ellen seemed to deny these claims in many ways, saying that she is in fact the person that we see on screens. However, she is also a lot of other things. Ellen said that she can sometimes be impatient, frustrated, and upset. And she apologised if she had ever let people down or hurt their feelings. So this seemed to be pretty heartfelt from Ellen. However, given the sheer amount of allegations which came out from multiple workers, even senior executives on the show, as well as high-profile stars who had been guests on the show, sort of suggests that they were speaking the truth. I mean, it wasn't just one person who had these allegations. I mean, we're talking multiple people who had come out saying basically the same story about this toxic environment and about how different she is from what she seems to be on screen. So I think that sort of suggests that it is the truth. And she ultimately said that she had spoken with her team and had, quote, made the necessary changes and today we are starting a new chapter. So this seems to be a new beginning for the Ellen DeGeneres show. I mean, many people didn't expect the show to return for its 18th season this year. After all the allegations, people speculated that even James Corden was going to come to the network and take over Ellen's daytime slot. However, this hasn't been the case. James Corden came out and denied all those claims, and Ellen has returned and seems to have resolved many of those issues, and she seems to be back to stay. But it would be interesting to see what happens in the coming weeks and over the next few seasons, depending how long the show lasts. I mean, all these allegations are bound to have a hit on her ratings and her viewers, so I wonder what will happen with the show in the next couple of weeks. How many people will tune in, especially given COVID-19. She can't obviously have a live audience, so she has a virtual audience. But she has still had notable guest appearances from people like Kris Jenner, who have come on speaking about the ending of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. So it seems like her show is still going strong, but it will be interesting to see what happens in the coming weeks. So this next segment's going to get a little bit heated and a little bit opinionated, but it's because it's about Donald Trump. So last week we sadly lost the life of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She was a Supreme Court judge who was a champion of race and gender equality and a pioneering lawyer on women's rights and civil rights. She was a true feminist symbol, a force to be reckoned with, and a major pop icon. She was really a key symbol in the nation's highest court and is remembered for her heroic work not only in the courtroom but in society as well. However, yesterday Donald Trump controversially nominated Amy Coney Barrett to replace the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg in the wake of her tragic passing. This announcement has caused an outcry across America, especially in the Democratic community, given Coney Barrett's controversial conservative views. Coney Barrett sees the Affordable Care Act as unconstitutional and that abortion is immoral. She is a member of the People of Praise, a charismatic covenant community in Indiana, which is known for the submissive role played by women, many of whom were called handmaids until recently. She's also been hostile towards the LGBT civil rights and would vote to undo marriage equality. This directly contradicts every single progressive policy and idea which RBG pushed forward during her 27 years in the Supreme Court. Ruth Bader Ginsburg fought for the rights of women and gender equality, most notably abortion, where she said, "The basic thing is that the government has no business in making that choice for women." Yeah, so this is a pretty controversial decision from Donald Trump. I mean, especially only a week after her death, he's come out and pretty much undermined every single thing that this notable and significant figure has worked for over the past few decades. It's a really upsetting for many people. I mean, many people have come out online saying that this is a backward step for America's civil rights. So clearly people are upset about this decision. I mean, many did suspect that he would replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg with a woman because of gender equality. However, the fact that this woman has these views which completely undermine and contradict every single thing which Ruth Bader Ginsburg fought for is really controversial, and something which will be really interesting to see what happens with the upcoming election in the next couple months. I mean, this hasn't really affected anything. In fact, many people in the Republican community are probably happy about this decision. However, the Democrats are definitely not very happy at all. So it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next few months. Okay, so in more shocking news this week, we also saw that after 2 months of public engagement, Demi Lovato and her fiancé Max Ehrich have called it quits. So a close source to Demi reportedly said that she didn't think that he had good intentions. And this is very surprising considering the number of pics which we have seen uploaded to social media of the happy couple over the past couple months after they've been engaged. However, the two have reportedly had many issues in recent months, including living on other sides of the country, and haven't talked a lot, so it hasn't come to surprise of many of Demi's closest friends and family. However, for her fans and to the general public, this is a pretty big surprise. I mean, the two seem to be in a good place. One of Hollywood's happiest couples. They were engaged, and especially given, I don't know if any of you have watched it, Demi's 2017 YouTube documentary called Simply Complicated, that really went in depth into her past relationships. She obviously had that long-term relationship for it was a number of years, and with an older man. But when that ended, she said that she really struggled with finding more relationships. She had trust issues. And so it seemed when they announced this engagement a couple months ago that Demi had really got past this stage and she had really found happiness. However, this is pretty upsetting to especially some of her fans who obviously this would be an upsetting time for her. Demi nor Max have commented on this situation at this stage. However, multiple sources have reported this, so it seems to be the case, but we will obviously have to wait for a proper announcement from either Demi or Max to confirm these allegations, or not allegations, but rumours, but they seem to be pretty true, so yeah, we'll have to wait and see. It's pretty upsetting, but yes. So last week I encouraged you guys to check out Paris Hilton's new documentary on YouTube, but this week's must-watch is a new interview on YouTube. So this week, Jordyn Woods sat down in an interview with Natalie Emmanuel Lee, where she opened up about the infamous Tristan Thompson scandal. The interview focused on her healing process and how she let go of the shame which she faced in recent years. The show looks at this on a very in-depth level, looking at the spiritual and mental aspects of this. So I will be the first to say that I got on the hate Jordyn bandwagon when the whole cheating scandal came out. However, even as a loyal fan of Chloe, I thought I should hear her side to the story. So the episode of Now with Natalie focused on redemption and leaving shame behind, so it's no wonder she chose to speak with Jordyn. So in a culture of cancelling people with harsh comments online, Jordyn really felt the wrath of this after her cheating scandal with Tristan Thompson last year. She said that she deleted everything off her phone as soon as the whole thing broke out because she felt that she couldn't trust anyone besides two people. So the episode also looked at taking responsibility for our actions in society. So I think this is something that Jordyn has seemed to done. Obviously, we saw the whole thing play out on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I mean, obviously, it's a different side to the story, but we did see a lot of drama surrounding Jordyn not really communicating with Chloe after the thing and not really apologizing. So we don't know whether that truly happened in the end. But it seemed that Jordyn had accepted that this has happened. She wasn't happy that this has happened, but she really seemed to use this journey to overcome all the drama, and really it seems that she has become a stronger person because of this. We also saw Jordyn talk about her past. She's faced a lot of body shaming because of her weight, which she said has negatively impacted her in the past, but now she has learnt to use that to build herself up, and she feels really strong in her body. And obviously that would have a lot to do with growing up in the public eye. She was obviously friends with Kylie Jenner for a long time and featured on Keeping Up with the Kardashians many times, even when she was a young teenager. So we saw many tweets come out from the past which were really shameful towards her. And so it was interesting to see her side of the story, really. I mean, obviously we had all seen all the allegations and everything that had come out last year. But we hadn't really seen or heard anything in depth from Jordyn. So it was interesting to see and listen to her side of the story. Whether or not, I mean, she definitely still did the wrong thing. I mean, she kissed Chloe's baby daddy. So, I mean, I don't know how much. I mean, but I think she's trying to move past this. And I think this interview helps. And it definitely seems like she's in a better place. I don't think she's speaking to the Kardashian family, though, anymore. So it's definitely a new era. I mean, we saw Kylie and Jordyn grow up on the screens. They seemed like the best friends. I mean, even on Kylie's show, Life of Kylie. So we really saw that for a long time. And after all of this has happened, it just seems that they've really cut each other out. But yeah, so... Okay, so this week we also saw the announcement that the Billboard Music Awards are going to return on October 14, and this is because it was postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So it obviously usually occurs in April. However, because of the unlikelihood of the pandemic, they postponed it to later this year. And so now it will return virtually like the Emmys and the VMAs have done. So it will be hosted once again by Kelly Clarkson. I think this is her now third or fourth time doing it, but she is a really great host. So that's a great decision by the Billboard Music Awards. And despite its delay, the awards are still going to be based on the time period from March 23, 2019 to March 14 of this year. So this means that artists like Lady Gaga will probably be exempt from most of the awards. I don't think she was nominated for many at all, given her latest album Chromatica wasn't actually released until May of this year, so it's not included in the time period. So it obviously will be probably next year where she will probably steal the show. However, Post Malone is nominated for 16 awards in 15 categories, so this is leading over all the other stars. We also see Khalid and Billie Eilish, who are both nominated for 12 awards, and other nominated artists include Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, Lizzo, the Jonas Brothers, BTS, and so many more. But obviously, I will cover this in more depth in a couple weeks after in that episode of the podcast. But so definitely tune into that on October 14. But yeah, it should be really great. So in more happy news this week, Zayn Malik and Gigi Hadid recently welcomed their first child together, and apparently it was a super emotional experience for all of them. So according to E! News, Gigi gave birth in New York City this week, and a source says that both her and Zayn's mums were by her side throughout the whole labour and delivery, which was apparently holistic based. So everything went smoothly according to this source, and that Gigi is now recovering in her penthouse in New York. So they're all on a high apparently and just in disbelief. So Zayn and Gigi both broke the news to their fans on Instagram and Twitter. Zayn tweeting a picture of him holding the baby's hands, saying, "Our baby girl is here, healthy and beautiful. To try and put this in words, how I am feeling right now would be an impossible task. The love I feel for this tiny human is beyond my understanding. Grateful to know her, proud to call her mine, and thankful for the life we will have together." So this is obviously really cementing their relationships in many ways. I mean, the couple have been on and off again for many years now, and so apparently they're in the best place right now. I guess the fact that they are sharing a baby now really brings their whole relationship together. However, obviously we haven't had a wedding yet. We are waiting for that, but I just have to say how attractive that baby is going to be. I mean, its mum is a supermodel and its father is Zayn Malik, so we might have a new model on our horizons in the next few years, but we are still waiting on the name of the baby. They haven't announced anything yet, so it'll be interesting to see what they name it, whether it'll be a conventional name or something unconventional, which a lot of the stars seem to be doing lately, with really unique names, but we will have to sit tight and wait and see. So obviously last week I spoke on the Kanye West drama surrounding his latest Twitter storm. However, this week a lot more has come out, and this is involving his relationship with Kim, and multiple outlets have reported that she has filed for divorce from Kanye. So apparently over the last few months, their marriage has been on the rocks. After Kanye announced his presidential run back in July, he's had a lot of Twitter rants, and they've been really bizarre, and a lot of claims about his family and his career and Kim and her family. So now divorce rumors are buzzing, and sources claim that Kim is reportedly looking to get the ball rolling. So a source told US Weekly that Kim is considering her options when it comes to her future with West. So apparently she is stressed out between studying with law, taking care of her kids, and helping Kanye. So it is reported that divorce options planned out if it comes to that. But obviously we'll have to wait and see. I mean, they shut down those rumors yesterday with an Instagram post of their date night last night. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, there have been multiple reports that have come out saying that the two are going to get divorced, and that Kim has basically had enough of taking care of Kanye. I mean, obviously it's put her in a very difficult position because she's torn between her life and the welfare of her kids, but also she doesn't really want to leave. Obviously Kanye's unwell, and obviously he needs help, so I guess she is torn between, that looking after him and her image, and but getting her own healthy lifestyle. I mean, it wouldn't be easy living with Kanye at the moment. He seems to, all these bizarre tweets and rants and things like that, and running for president. I think it would be very overwhelming, and it'll be interesting to see whether they run through this on Keeping Up with the Kardashians next year during their last season. I think they are still filming, and so hopefully we can get more detail and insight into this and what is happening between the couple. But for now, it seems that they are still strong. On social media, obviously doesn't show the whole story, but they seem to be trying to shut down these rumors. So the last thing to talk about this week is Drew Barrymore, and she is the host of a new daytime talk show called The Drew Barrymore Show. So she has already had notable guest appearances from Charlie's Angels reunion. We saw Lucy Liu and Cameron Diaz join Drew Barrymore on the show, and it was really interesting. They actually have a virtual seat, which basically is like a hologram, and so Cameron Diaz was able to appear like she was in the studio in New York when in fact she was actually in Los Angeles. So that's been a way that they have been able to, not just during this COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of talk show have been talking to people just via screens and video chat, but this really gives the appearance like they are in fact in the studio. I mean, I didn't notice it until after when I read something about it. It really does look like they are in the studio talking to one another. And I think they also did this with Paris Hilton. Drew Barrymore spoke to her about a new documentary, which I told you guys to watch last week. And so that was really interesting to watch. I think a bit more in depth about Paris Hilton's whole story. It obviously went in a lot of depth. I hope you guys watched it because it is really interesting. And make sure you check out this must watch for this week, the YouTube interview with Jordyn Woods. But so the show seems to be pretty interesting, and obviously this is another daytime TV show. We obviously still have Ellen, even though many people thought that she wasn't going to return, but this show is on CBS every Monday. It started on September 14, so it's been going for about 2 weeks now. So, but yeah, it seems to be going well, and it seems to be a very interesting show. And Drew Barrymore, this is her first time hosting a TV show, but she seems to be doing a really good job. So if you're still here, thank you so much for tuning into this week's podcast episode. I hope you found it interesting, and I will be back next week with more drama, more news, and maybe some more politics. I don't know, I might steer clear of it. I know this week was probably a bit controversial, but I definitely think it was interesting to talk about. So make sure you follow me or subscribe to my podcast, wherever you listen to it. I don't know whether it's on Apple Podcast yet. Should be out in the next couple of days, but it is on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and a lot of other podcast places, and it is also on YouTube. I upload that usually a few hours after it gets released on Spotify, and you can follow me on Instagram. I think I gave you the wrong handle last week, but it's at __ Hollywood News __. So make sure you follow me there. You can get up to date. I post multiple times a day with news and drama and things like that. And so, yeah, so I'll see you guys next week, and thank you for listening in.